Welcome back, everyone. Now, up to 80% of people experience a bad back at some stage in their lives.
It can be avoided, though. Research shows your back gives off subtle warning signs before things actually get serious. Help us to talk about our backs. We'd like to welcome back physio Anna-Louise Bouvier. Anna-Louise, I apologise.
No.
Let's look at the causes of back pains. We all know that poor posture, you're sitting, that's a big no-no, but you say it's a combination of things, including what's happening in our minds. What do you mean by that? So our minds are controlling our backs?
Well, no, it's kind of a bit of a perfect storm, really. If you look at Gordon here, he's sort of perfectly stable because he's got a lovely rod up his bottom that goes all the way up through his spine. But
well, Gordon, yes.
Like you know.
Happy Monday.
But unfortunately, or fortunately, most of us don't have that. And the thing is that what we need is muscles to actually hold us in position. So you've got your joints here. Now, if you sit like a banana all day, that's obviously not going to help.
Like
then,
that?
if your then if your muscles get weaker, then if you add fatigue, which is where the kind of whole stress, poor sleep, and then you're sort of, worried about things. Often what we see is that it'll often be the mental piece, like you'll have the bad back, the weak muscles, the poor posture, and then something will happen. Might even be an issue with a colleague or, a baby being sick or something where it just totally tips you over the edge, and that's often where you end up with a whole, full catastrophe.
And people with asthma or breathing problems are at higher risk of having back pain.
This came out of an enormous longitudinal study where they looked at 45,000 people, and they found that actually what we've discovered is that your core is actually like a little cylinder, and it sort of sits like that. What we discovered is that the top of the cylinder is actually your diaphragm and the bottom is your pelvic floor. So if you have problems with your breathing, or if you're really stressed and so you're really only using the top part of your lungs, that can really contribute to your core breaking down and you developing back pain.
Anna-Louise, what are the little signs? We mentioned it in the intro here, but what are the little signs you say you could put a stop to it almost immediately?
Well, one of the main things is that often when people sit for long periods of time, they start to get little aches and pains and twinges, right? Most of us are very good at ignoring those aches and pains and twinges, right? So what happens is you kind of go, well, that kind of niggled, and instead of doing something about it then, we tend to just get on with it. And in fact, that's your body. It's a bit like the dashboard on your car. The little lights go off, and so long as the car keeps going, you go, oh, well.
We'll be fine.
So that's right, exactly. So you should actually be looking at those little signals and going, look, I need to go and see a physio, see what's going on, see what I can do.
I was going to say that to you. If you have ignored the warning signs and then you're hit with severe back pain, what's the first step you should take? Because it's quite debilitating, isn't it?
Totally. And what's interesting is, 20 years ago it was all about rest and drugs. And these days now we're finding more and more it's actually about keeping moving. So as much as possible, just keep moving. We know that if you start moving really stiffly, actually that can create a whole lot of other problems as well.
Because you overcompensate.
Exactly. So you should keep moving. You should go and find someone who knows what they're doing. So either go to your GP or certainly your local physio will be able to tell you stuff. And you should reboot that core so you've got some support and learn some new strategies on how to get rid of it.
But for the long-term fix, just quickly, what are some things we can do to prevent it?
Okay, stop sitting like a banana. That's kind of one of the main
banana
things.
sitting?
You two don't have to worry. But an enormous sort of part of the problem is how much we sit. So just getting on your feet a whole lot more is really good. Starting to think about, if you are under heaps of stress, really thinking about things like, mindfulness training and good breathing and all that sort of stuff, so that you start to take the mind thing out of the body, and you'll find that actually really makes a big difference.
Amazing. Anna-Louise, thank you so much. Always invaluable to have you here. Just